Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of Sit Down by the Fire. I am Verithaler Studios. I am here with Junebug Films here on the phone. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties, but hey, do what you got to do. And we're here with our next guest. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Nikolai Leon, and I'm an actor.
Awesome. But yeah, thank you so much. So,
Sorry, that was a short introduction.
oh, it's all right, man. It's totally fine.
I mean, hey, sit down by the fire. We kind of let our guests, introduce themselves because you are your best intro. So.
Mm. Right, so
We will.
my name is Nikolai Leon. I recently was in a film called Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I played Christopher Robin, and yeah, I've been doing it for a couple of years now. I've had a few other projects such as Alien Invasion and The Killing Tree, which is a great festive film to watch this time of the month.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But probably not with the whole family.
Probably not.
it's
No.
it's not those type of films. Yeah. And I'm currently working on a project um written by a good friend of mine who's also an actress, and her name is Charlie Esker, and the project is called Buera Assassin. I don't want to give too much away, but it's kind of like a supernatural noir thriller based in London, which is very exciting, and I'm very looking forward to that.
Awesome.
Huh. All right. Well, I will
Yeah.
ask the questions first, and then Eric will go.
Okay.
What movies that inspired you to become an actor? What were they?
M- Movies that inspired me. Um, I'll be honest. My I love the old classic, crime dramas. You know, Martin Scorsese is probably one of my favorite directors. So films such as Goodfellas
Hmm.
is a classic. Um, I also I'm a big sucker for Scarface. I love Al Pacino in
Oh, yeah.
Scarface. That was an insane film. And Godfather, of course, you can't forget about God. I guess just these noir type films. Taxi Driver as well is a very cool film.
Yeah, definitely. Even the original Scarface with Paul Muni.
Yes, and I haven't seen it, but it looks amazing. It looks very cool.
It is. It is. I mean, obviously, topping Al Pacino. I mean, Paul Muni is a great actor, but like, it's not as good as the one with Al Pacino, but it's still
Mhm.
amazing. Even some of the early crime dramas, Little Caesar,
It,
uh, you know, Angels with Dirty Souls. I mean, I love some of those movies, definitely. But no, I mean, Martin Scorsese and you know Brian De Palma, some of those great movies. Yeah, so good choices.
Mhm.
Um,
yeah. um,
I mean,
and then there's just
I
like,
kind of already
I can go on for hours about
already
movies.
answered this, but favorite movies besides the ones you mentioned, and then maybe some dream roles that you might have.
Have you guys watched the film called The Basketball Diaries?
I have heard of it, but I don't think that I personally have watched it. So,
It was quite a low budget film, and not a lot of people know about it. But man, it's based off a an author called Jim Carroll, and he had quite a traumatic life. He used to be an amazing basketball player, but he went through all types of uh, addiction with heroin and everything, and he lost everything. And then when he recovered, he wrote a book, and that's what the movie was based on, basically his life. And it's an amazing film with Leonardo DiCaprio, and he's like giving it one of his best performances in my opinion. I think he's great in that film. Basketball Diaries, yep.
That's
And sorry, and then what was the rest of the question?
dream roles.
Dream roles. Okay. I I've always liked playing the anti-hero. I think it's always more fun. Uh,
Right.
because I feel like your hands are less tied, and you have kind of more freedom. As the hero, I don't think you have that much um opportunities. You know, it's just I think it's more fun to play around with
Yeah.
the anti-heroes. So like it's crazy to say, but the Joker is an insane character to even think about playing because there's just so many different variations you can do of that character, and he's just a perfect example of a character you can just play around with, and just get lost.
Oh. Well, when I was watching Blood and Honey, I could kind of see you in the role maybe 10 years from now, but you kind of have like to me like a James Bond look. So I could see you as James Bond maybe 10 years from now, you know?
Hey, I'll take it, man. I'll take it where I can get it.
Yeah.
James Bond, I loved. I grew up with Sean Connery, being my favorite. In my opinion, I loved his performance.
And
And also, of course, Daniel Craig. He's amazing.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
He's great.
Well, I think that you could kind of bring back the suaveness a little bit to Bond. So
Yeah, let's take Bond back to like the 20s, like that, like the Scarface, the original one. Let's.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, like
I want to see that James Bond. I'm tired of seeing all the jet planes and explosions.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I could definitely see you kind of doing the, like that Sean Connery show, and not just based on your performance in Blood and Honey, because I could see it 10 years from now. And heck, if the rumors are true, the Broccoli's are looking for somebody in their mid to late 20s or early 30s. So who knows, right?
Perfect. Thank you for telling me that.
Yeah.
I'll be out there hunting.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, contact your agent. Tell them that that you so right.
Definitely. I heard it from you guys first.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, so and definitely if Eon Productions is watching this, we want we'll just ask for our 8 cents. That's it.
Oh yeah, no problem. I'll send the check over. Just send me your details.
Yeah. All right. You mentioned Scorsese, but maybe some actors, directors you would like to work with in the future.
Tarantino is another one I absolutely love. Actors. I met Tom Hardy on my 18th birthday. I was
Okay.
I was yeah I was studying drama at a school called Richmond Adult Community Center. It's like RACC. It was just like a foundation course, but it was the same actually school that Tom Hardy went to because I think he lived in that area or he currently has moved.
Right.
But he was coming out of Whole Foods, and then I got a picture of him, and he was just like the nicest guy, and
Oh.
I've loved all his films. Like Legends is one of my favorites, and he was made awesome in Mad Max and as in the as Bane.
Uh-huh.
He's just he's one of them actors like Al Pacino. I think that can just act with their eyes. I think if you can just act with your eyes.
Right.
Yeah. Legends was good, and the fact that he played two roles, and like he really, from what I've read about the Craig twins, he really seemed to capture them a little bit, both of them. Which, I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. I did not even recognize
like,
him at first when I saw the billboards.
mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this is true or not, but I think he said to the director he will only accept the role if he gets to play both of them at the same time. So I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, he was just like it's just watching two different people in that film. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And yeah, if you look back at the footage of the original Grey Twins, it's spot on. Like the way one of the brothers would tilt their head back a little bit, and it's just the body language.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So,
And yeah, going back to the eyes thing, like especially in the Dark Knight Rises when he played Bane, knowing that he was wearing that mask, and then therefore like he really had to rely on his eyes and yeah, like
absolutely.
the way how he did that voice like was intimidating, and just the acting with his eyes, it was intense and raw.
I think it's
exactly.
like,
With Christopher Nolan's film as well, when he's a pilot, with the mask. What's it called again? I forgot the name. But um,
I think it was called Dunkirk.
Dunkirk, that's the one. That's again an amazing war film. Christopher Nolan is amazing. I recently watched Oppenheimer and I was like, wow. um,
yeah,
but yeah, again, he plays a pilot, so he's wearing a mask most of the film, but he's, you can see every emotion just with his eyes.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I don't. In some ways, Tom Hardy, like, I think he's a. I don't want to say underrated, but like maybe underappreciated actor, if that makes sense.
I can see. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I can say
Yeah,
underrated
I
because
feel
people know he's talented, but underappreciated is what I'll say. So
exactly. Yeah. I think the world really like saw him shine as well in The Revenant.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah,
that was very. I think he really got an opportunity to show what he's capable of in that film.
oh yeah,
yeah, definitely.
definitely yeah.
So with you being a young up and coming actor right now, and hopefully getting bigger and better roles, what advice would you give to young actors? Because some of the people who watch this podcast are aspiring actors or want to be actors. What advice would you give them?
You just got to keep going. I asked the same thing to my drama teacher, Tony James from Rose Bruford. It was the second drama school I went to, and he just always had this itch for acting that never went away, and he went back and forward and back and forward, and he just said it's just this itch that just doesn't go away. So I think if you love it with enough passion and you just have to keep going because it is a tough industry to get
It is.
into, and it's some most of the time you're kind of unemployed just waiting for the next role or the perfect role, and yeah, it's a tough industry, but again, if you love it with enough passion with any sort of career you choose in life, you just have to just consistency, just keep going.
Yeah, yeah, and with that being said, it reminds me of something that I learned recently. Like, oftentimes we're told not to pursue acting and whatnot, and we're told to get a safe job instead. But a very valuable life lesson that I learned is that you can fail at what you don't want working at that safe job you don't care about. So you might as well should take a chance at doing what you love.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yeah, we don't know what's really going to happen after we die, I guess. So why not take the chance, doing
Exactly.
something you love?
Exactly.
Right. Good.
Exactly.
It's
I mean, I think that I mean, if you have a if you have a dream to do whatever it is, go for it. I mean, the worst people could
mhm.
say no to you, and no is just a two-letter word. So
Yeah, and I understand how scary rejection can be and failure and of course it's very intimidating to kind of take that chance. But again, if you love it, if you really want to do it, you can do it. I think anything is possible in life. You almost have to manifest it. If you just put yourself into the right mentality, or good, you will see good things show up. I
Oh
think.
yeah,
mhm,
definitely.
definitely. Okay. Obviously, besides James Bond, since we already talked about that, you already said you wanted. But what other franchises would you like to be a part of? There's some bigger ones right now that are.
Are you guys into comics?
Yeah,
So have you guys read Fables by Bill Willingham?
I've heard of it, but I don't think I have actually read it.
Is that,
It's I think sorry, what was that?
does that have anything to do with the video game?
Exactly, The Wolf Among Us. They made a Telltale Games. They made a video game of based off the comic book series.
Yeah.
And man, yeah, it's just like this amazing series written by Bill Willingham, and it's just basically, long story short, like fairy tale characters living in our world in New York, but it's got its own noir twist to it. Like the big bad wolf is the sheriff of the town, and he's watching over all the. And Snow White is kind of like his love interest, but it's such an amazing comic book series, and there's so many great characters in that. That I would. It hasn't been brought to screen yet. The only show that's kind of similar is Once Upon a Time, I think it's called. Yeah, which is kind of a similar sort of story, but it's not the same as the comics.
Right.
No, the Wolf Among Us would be, and even Fables. I mean, especially, and I'm just basing off the Wolf Among Us because that's what I know. But like, I would love to see that made into, you know,
Yeah,
even even a series. You know, that would be really cool.
you can see it as like a TV show, right? Like
Yeah,
the way they do the episodes, and I guess they
maybe
kind of
a
do.
Once Upon a Time type of story. You know, like series, but more of like a with a bit of a I don't want to say darker edge, but you know,
more more like mystery detective kind of. I'd like.
uh,
I really love that game. That's one of my favorite games, The Wolf Among Us.
well, Telltale Studios is one of my favorite studios. I am glad that they're back making games that they recovered.
Oh yeah,
Like,
oh yeah. The Walking Dead season one was amazing. Like that is, ooh, that one was insane.
um, I mean, speaking of even Telltale, I would love to see them make a Sam and Max animated movie. You know, because
Oh yeah, yeah. Because they did, didn't they? They used to. They made the original. Yeah,
yeah,
that was like one of their first
love that.
games. Yeah.
That would be. Anyway, what were with one of my questions with my next question? What was your friends and family's reaction when you said that you were casted as Christopher Robin in a Winnie the Pooh horror movie? You know?
The same reaction like everyone else, I guess. They were just like they were so excited and over the moon, but then after they were like, wait, did you just say horror movie? You know?
Yeah. Well, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. Like, I'm pretty sure. Like, the internet was your best marketing for that movie because
Oh,
people were like,
definitely.
what?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
when I first
There's some hardcore Winnie the Pooh fans out there, man.
Well, when I first heard about it, I'm like, okay, well, they could do whatever they want with Winnie the Pooh. It's public domain as long as they don't trademark on anything with Disney. But like, I'm like, at first I thought it was kind of like a joke or something. Honestly, like,
Like yeah.
but then it turned out to be real. Like, oh my gosh, wow. Um, but
That's the thing. A lot of people, yeah, a lot of people were just like, "Is this even real?" You know, like, what the hell is this? It's just like never in a million years would I think that I'd see Christopher Robin chased by Winnie the Pooh.
I didn't either. Yeah, when I first heard about it, I thought it was like like a fan project because I had no idea that that the original book fell into the public domain, and then
Mhm.
and then afterwards the poster was revealed. I was like, okay, this is a legit movie. I want to do research. Like, how are they getting away with this? Like from Disney, and then I was like, oh, that makes sense. The book's public domain.
But isn't public domain a beautiful thing?
It's right.
well, I first heard about it when it was real. This is how I'm like, oh, this is real. When John Campia did a news poll on it that they're making a Winnie the Pooh horror movie. I'm like, oh, this is legit.
Very legit.
Yeah. Um, so you kind of mentioned this. You said that you love the gangster style movies, but maybe other favorite movie genres that you love. So
I'm trying to think what I've been watching recently. Uh, I you know I really I grew up with Batman, and uh, Batman for me was kind of a franchise that I was a oh Ghost Rider as well. Ghost
Oh yeah.
Rider, I feel like that superhero is a hero that hasn't had his apart. I really love the Nicolas Cage, the first especially. film with Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider. I actually really enjoyed that film, and I wish they made more Ghost Rider films because I just think that's a badass superhero.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like with like a skull being on fire, like
Come on, man, he's driving a Harley. Like, what more do you want? He's got chains.
right.
And only the Johnny
Yeah.
Cage version of Ghost Rider, because the other ones are like, come on. So
Exactly, exactly. Like it would be. I think they can make a great TV show with Ghost Rider.
Oh yeah.
Even if they go back to the original comics, they can make a lot of cool stuff with that.
um, music is definitely with leading into my next question. Music is so important to film. So what are some of your favorite film composers? I mean, obviously John Williams is on that list probably, but like film composers, you love.
Hans Zimmer is obviously he's amazing in everything he
Oh
does.
yeah.
Um, I watched a film called recently called Babylon, and the composer in that, Justin Hurwitz, he was incredible. I've never heard his music before, but wow, like uh, just like the so much like sound and every single instrument was just perfect. And it was wow. Justin Hurwitz was recently, yeah, he's a very good composer.
My favorite is probably Ennio Morricone.
Hey, Marcon.
Uh,
Can you name some films that?
A Fistful of Dollars for a Few Dollars More. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh, okay, all right.
And a lot. He did a.
Cool. Say no more. Yeah.
He's probably my favorite film composer of all time, just because that guy can make the most beautiful sounding music. I mean, like he's probably honestly the closest we ever came to like an actual I could easily see him being there with Mozart or Beethoven. He's that music, Marconi is definitely one of my favorites. Now, so anyway, with next question, this one is just like, hey, we could just geek out and everything. Who are some of your celebrity crushes?
I think he froze on his end.
Great.
Oh great, he froze. Oh no. Oh wait, there
I'm back.
we go. Okay, you're back.
Hello, I'm sorry. My phone like overheated or something, and all my apps just closed all of a sudden. I don't know. That's never happened before. I'm back. Hi. Sorry, you were saying.
Well, since this is on Eric's end, Eric, I guess we'll just cut that out.
Sorry. Sorry.
Celebrity crushes.
Oh man. I've always I think I've always had a crush on Mila Kunis and Angelina Jolie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, me and Eric grew up at the time where like Megan Fox was definitely the Hollywood it girl, and to some extent even, she's a little, let's just say interesting now and a little odd, but I mean, I'm gonna say Megan Fox, and even going back in the day, even going back to James Bond, I mean, Ursula Andress, Daniel Palenque, so. But Mila Kunis and Angelina Jolie, I think we can definitely agree with that one. And like Eric, I mean, then there's yours, Elizabeth Olsen. So,
oh yeah. Definitely her.
Good choice.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So maybe after when this interview premieres, if Angelina Jolie and Mila Kunis watch it, they can work with Nikolai here. So.
Oh yeah. That would be amazing.
I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah. So, and then kind of just a last question. But what's your go-to drink?
Ooh, go to drink. Let's see. I, to be honest, I used to work in a bar, and you'd expect me to say something amazing, but it's just like a vodka Red Bull.
Okay.
Just it gets the job done, gives me a bit of energy, and
Man, I'm pretty.
espresso martinis are kind of nice here or there, but cocktails as well. Like if I don't know the name of a cocktail, I choose that one. Just
For anybody that thinks they're cool, going to a bar. I'll have a vodka martini. Shake that house.
Second Oscar.
James, listen, James Bond is a cool character, but like he must not have taste buds because a vodka martini, shaken not stirred, tastes horrible.
horrible, man. I tried it once on, trying to be a little James Bondy with the little olive, and I couldn't even finish it. It was disgusting.
Yeah, well,
But whiskey, you can never go wrong with whiskey.
there you go.
Nice whiskey, very nice. Jack Daniels and Coke as well as, yeah.
For me, I tried to. I was 21 years old and saying I'm gonna do it. I'll have the vodka martini, shaken not stirred. Poor bartender, I spit it out immediately. Bartender. It was just
That was
horrible. Like, Tom does not have taste buds. Like, I've even tried some of his favorite drinks in the book. Because his favorite drink in the book was a scotch and soda. You know,
I did not know that.
but
But that's probably how like my audition will go for James Bond. I'll just spit the drink back out.
Yeah.
But
well,
Do what you gotta do, right?
we gotta do what we gotta do. Method acting, right?
drink is so horrible. They use movie magic with it. Like sometimes it's actually just like lemon water with olives. So
Exactly. There's ways to play around in the music in the movie industry.
There is, yeah.
exactly. So yeah, Eric.
All right, so my questions now, but yeah, thank you so much. So my first question is probably a question that you have gotten a lot since the release of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. But were you a fan of the franchise before you got involved with the horror movie?
I'll be honest, I wasn't. I was I never really got into Winnie the Pooh growing up. I knew of him. I really liked Eeyore. I loved Eeyore. Eeyore was
Uh,
just he was so just adorable. Um
Shame on him. Like in the movie you were in, he didn't
I
make.
know, and I'm getting whipped now. I'm getting whipped by his tail. It's just like it was the biggest. It was not. Yeah,
See,
it's not. They done Eeyore, my poor boy.
That scene was brutal.
like man, I never thought a pinned on donkey tail could be used as a weapon.
Well, well, now we know. I guess
Yeah.
The more you know, right?
exactly. But I was more into like Scooby Doo. I think growing up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, sadly, just sadly we can't. I mean, the Scooby Doo horror movie's probably not going to happen for what 2065.
Yeah, and by
Oh,
then, I'm gonna be old
or dead.
or dead. Yeah.
okay.
So,
Well, if I audition for that role, Shaggy is gonna have to be some old man with a walking stick.
right. That'd be funny.
At that point, you just have to base Shaggy off of old man Tommy Chong, basically.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, so while you were making Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, how was it like on set?
On set, it was always just again, everyone was super happy to just be there creating something special, and because I think we all knew we knew it was gonna be special, but we didn't expect it to, you know, gain the popularity it did. and but yeah, everyone was just always every day, happy, to just be there working, regardless of the weather conditions or whatever, or the long hours. And but yeah, it was just a pleasure to to be on set.
Yeah, well, I mean, it inspired, even me and Eric here to kind of make our own public domain horror movie, but we decided to do something that horror fans have waited for almost 100 years. Eric, why don't you tell them?
So, okay, we saw, we saw what you guys did with Winnie the Pooh, and we were like, okay, what are some public domain properties that we can take advantage of? So we actually were talking about doing a Doctor Doolittle horror movie. Almost because it turns out that the original book of that is in the public domain.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, we were talking about that, and then we were like, for the budget for all the animal effects, so instead we realized the 1931 Frankenstein and Dracula with Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi, those will be public domain in 2027. So, and then we thought, hey, why don't we do Dracula versus the Frankenstein monster?
Oh my days. Fuck yeah.
Right,
That sounds good.
right.
That is awesome. That's what we need more, man. Like one of my favorite horrors of all time is Freddy versus Jason. I
Uh-huh.
just thought that was such a good crossover, of iconic characters. And yeah, I just feel like we don't see enough of those films.
Well,
Right, exactly. And considering that Freddy versus Jason made bank at the box office, so it's like business wise, it makes sense, right?
People want to see that stuff. People are interested in that stuff.
and Eric, I mean, the fact that the script, I mean, we have an outline and a rough ideas, but the fact is, for this movie, we already even have two actors casted. One of which is just a girl that Eric and I know as the leading lady, and then we already have an actor casted as the monster. And we actually, Guinness Book of World Records should be funding the movie because we broke a Guinness Book of World Record. We casted the tallest actor ever to play the monster. He is 7'7".
Holy crap.
Right, but yeah, a guy like that as a Frankenstein monster is spot on perfect.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh my god. You don't need to do no special effects or nothing. You
Right,
got
exactly.
well, the only special effect we need to do is he would just need to wear 3-inch heels because the monster in the is 8 foot. But I mean, come on, that's not that hard to do, really.
Exactly,
no,
exactly.
no, that's perfect. Wow, perfect costume.
Oh, definitely, yeah. So, speaking of horror movies, so in January, the very first Mickey Mouse cartoon becomes public domain, and everyone's
Yes,
talking about that. And so since you guys made a Winnie the Pooh horror movie, people are saying, so are they going to turn Mickey Mouse into a horror movie? So I was just curious, what are your thoughts on Mickey Mouse becoming public domain in January, and do you think that there will be a horror film out of that?
absolutely. I think like as soon as it goes into public domain, someone's gonna make a horror from it. Because Mickey Mouse, now that is a character like you can really as well do some crazy stuff. In terms of horror.
My only thing about that, though, is I hate to bring it up, but just that I would appreciate any young filmmaker being ambitious enough to do it, but like you would have to basically do some trademark maneuvering, and probably before you do it, my advice would be contact a copyright lawyer because Disney
Yeah,
trademarked the name Mickey Mouse, probably Steamboat Willie. Like you would probably have to like use the image of Mickey Mouse and like maybe this is Ricky Rat or something.
Yeah.
yeah. You have to in some sense pay respect to the original material and find out all the right ways that is am I allowed to do this and just yeah, I guess yeah, just finding out
Oh yeah.
what that if you can use that idea, but at the same time you're not stealing it technically. even though they might not technically want you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you should always still check, I guess.
Okay, fair enough. So there will be some big name characters becoming public domain in a few years, like Superman, Batman. Um, when those become public domain, that'll be huge. So, I mean, you already played Christopher Robin, and that's now a character in the public domain. So, are there any other public domain characters that you would like to have a shot at?
Batman would be a very interesting character. I think with like the Joker, again, like the recent Batman with Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he's that's how I see my that's how I've always seen Bruce Wayne, and the recent film with Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker.
Yeah.
That's how I've always seen the Joker. It's weird. It's like two of my favorite characters movies just came out at the same time, like quite close to each other.
Uh-huh.
Uh, so yeah, Batman would be amazing. I love that whole franchise.
Oh yeah.
Well, actually, this Nikolai, there's some look up a character here on on YouTube called the Black Bat. He was a character that was written before Batman. That's Bob Kane may or may not have ripped off. It's very sketchy, but look at the Black Bat. Basically, Batman before Batman. That character's public domain. So maybe you could come.
The Black Bat. Okay, yeah, I'll check that out.
Black Bat.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, of course, anytime. But yeah, so when you were first offered to be in a Winnie the Pooh horror movie, what were your thoughts?
I was I I I was just very excited, just just very excited. I done the Killing Tree with them first, Jagged Edge Productions, and then and then I was invited to do this role, and I was just again blown away to play such an iconic character. I was a little bit worried because Winnie the Pooh is such a icon, very lovable character to a lot of people,
Right, of course.
a lot of childhoods, and yeah, and to make a horror film from it was a bit like I was a little bit nervous about that, but you don't have to watch the film. I'm sure it's for a certain type of audience.
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'm just amazed what I mean, I was just amazed what you guys did with the budget. I think the original budget was 15,000, and then it got increased because people were interested in it, if I remember correctly. I was just amazed what you guys were able to do with the budget. Because it was probably one of the best horror movies I've seen in a while. Just because it knew what it was the big thing. If you know what I mean by that. So.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked it, because it was just like, the fact, again, we talked about it, the fact that you have a scene where Winnie the Pooh is whipping Christopher Robin with Eeyore's tail. What?
Yeah, it's crazy what they done. They had to. I think I was meant to be just in originally just for the intro bit, but then they brought me back for reshoots towards the end with the car explosions and everything. And the car explosion as well was very very cool. That gave me that same vibes from like the Robert Pattinson Batman when he's walking in slow mo.
Yeah.
That was one of the funnest scenes I think to film, just because I've never worked with that, amount of explosion in a scene.
Right, yeah. And then I mean, spoiler for those who haven't seen the movie, and then you are begging for Pooh, well, I like to not kill that girl, and then he says you left.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then he slices her throat, and yeah, and I mean, I understand that because of copyright, you guys couldn't have him sound like have a
Right.
iconic voice, but instead it's like a very very deep, raspy kind of voice, and
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's true. They couldn't use the original Winnie the Pooh voice. Same with the outfit. They couldn't, copy just the red shirt. Even though I don't think most people would want to see that anymore.
yeah,
But
considering that the Winnie the Pooh that we all know doesn't wear pants, so
that's what I'm saying. It would be a different type of film.
yeah,
uh,
like it's like, is this a porno now?
exactly. God knows what that would have been if that was the thing. Probably is now. God knows.
So, out of all the scenes that you filmed in Winnie the Pooh, Blood Honey, what was the scene that you had the most fun with?
Definitely, I'd say that explosion scene. That was the torture scene was a bit cold because the blood they poured me on was freezing. So the pain that you saw on my face was just real. It wasn't acted. But the explosion was just like super cool. It was that that Michael Bay type moment. It was just very cool to
Right, of
do.
course.
Right.
All right. Funniest moment you had on a movie set you were a part of?
Um, I was on Alien Invasion with Fred, directed by Fred Sirrell. Um, we were filming in a pool scene the whole day, and the water was again. I get cold so quickly. I hate the cold, and the water was like at first it was fine, but towards the end of shooting was getting more and more colder. But they were so nice enough to let us go in between takes into another section where it was a jacuzzi. And I remember I was offset and I was in that jacuzzi, and I swear I turned like the hot temperature like to the max. That when they called me back, came to call me back, they couldn't see me because of all the fog
Uh-huh.
in the jacuzzi because I was just roasting in that jacuzzi and then running back into the pool to continue filming. But that was really fun. That was such a fun film set to be on.
Awesome.
Yeah. I was there like Tony Montana, just chilling in the jacuzzi.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. So, since it is the Christmas season, what are some of your favorite Christmas movies?
um,
This is Christmas.
have you guys watched Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes.
That is
I love that film. The Turbo Man doll, that stupid Turbo Man doll. Uh, Deck the Halls as well is another one of my favorites, personal favorites. With Danny DeVito.
Yeah, and Deck the Halls, isn't that the one that has Danny DeVito?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly. Yes.
I haven't seen that movie in years.
Yeah. Oh man, it's
that one.
one of those ones where you can.
Why can't we? You know what? Why can't we get? Superhero movies are huge right now. We need to have a Turbo Man movie.
We do.
Oh my god, that's a public. When's that in the public domain?
I will be 100 years old when that turns public domain because that won't be till 2092.
2092.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm gonna be 100 years old at that time, so forget it, buddy.
we'll work around it. We'll call it like the, I don't know, the
Turbo
Toon Bum Boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Turbo Person instead.
We'll do some movie magic. It's all right.
Yeah, yeah.
Call him like Turbo Mitch.
Fucking Perfect. Sign me. Where do I sign?
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Well, hold on. Wasn't that made by Fox?
I'm not sure.
I believe so, but I would have to do research.
If that was made by Fox, Disney, your superhero movies are failing right now. I think if you do a Turbo Man movie, guaranteed hit.
Come on.
Yeah, do it. Come on.
That will be fire.
Do it. Do it now.
I want it. And I want Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Turbo.
Yeah,
Turbo Man.
exactly.
Come on, we got to do it.
We got to do it.
Get one of his kids or something to play Turbo Man, you know?
Oh, definitely. I'm sure there's plenty of options to choose.
But yeah, Jingle on the Way. That was a movie that
Elf as well is
Yes,
Will Ferrell. I love as well.
I actually just watched that before the interview because it's
Again, that's another film you can watch every single year and never get bored. Like, I think I'm gonna watch that tonight, actually.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And especially knowing that he would put syrup on everything, and there is that part where he put syrup on the spaghetti noodles.
My favorite scene in that is when they leave him in some like office or workplace for a few minutes and they come back and he's just fully dancing on the table.
Right.
Everyone loves him. He fit in really well, you know.
when you have it though, when you watch Elf tonight though, you just need to try Elf spaghetti.
Do it.
Elf spaghetti, definitely.
Yeah,
And then just maybe that's when
And a hot chocolate with whipped cream.
yeah, exactly. Just put candy all over it.
you do that, and then you could literally title it Christopher Robin. Tried Elf.
Exactly.
Yeah, and probably the funniest scene, in my opinion, in that movie is where like he's calling that guy an elf, and then he's like, "Call me elf one more time." He's an angry elf, and then like that guy's just beating the crap out of him.
That guy just doesn't understand the offense.
Right?
He's call me off one more time.
You know, when I was watching this with my mom, I actually brought this up. I'm like, you know what? Think about it. Think about what's gonna go on with, you know, the baby from the orphanage went missing. Like, there's like that sounds like a true crime podcast. Something like a baby went missing on Christmas Day, and the baby was gone without a trace. Like, so like my thing is like, what you know, I brought that up to mom. Like my mom, like, man, there's kind of a darker story here if you think about it with Elf.
Yeah.
Yeah, there kind of is.
Did that nun go to prison?
I feel like there's always some like hidden messages sometimes. Even if you look back at the old classic Disney, man, the amount of like hidden messages in that is insane.
There is like in the original Lion King when adult Simba lies down, like all the dust or debris or whatever, like it spells out sex. Disney
Sex.
said it is supposed to be SFX, but when I look back, I'm like, it looks more like it's saying sex. So
But here's the thing: why are you even spelling things in the first place? You know,
yeah,
just why the confusion?
One of the rescuers, where you literally see a woman, it's like a quick flash, but it's full frontal.
Hmm. There's a lot. There's so many. I used to watch like compilation videos on YouTube of just all of like the original classic Disney, you know, little hidden messages. I think it's to, I guess, make the adults more interested when they're there sitting there with their kids, and then they're like, "Oh, what was that?" You know.
Well, Walt especially believed in that, you know, making movies for the whole family.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, basically, his philosophy, along with Don Bluth's philosophy of making movies too, is that a cartoon can be dark, but as long as it has a happy ending, we're still good.
yep.
Hmm.
I mean, honestly, I believe in that philosophy too, as far as movie making. So,
Oh, my phone's literally about to die.
Okay, yeah, his phone died. So,
Okay.
okay, I was just gonna ask him my final question. Are there any upcoming projects you want to plug in? But I guess he already did in like the beginning. So,
Yeah, he kind of mentioned that, but
so yeah, so he kind of already answered it anyway. So,
yeah, well, we
I guess I could end
let him
recording now.
let him know that that's okay. My last question was already answered, but I would say that